Hey, good evening, everybody. How you doing? This is Jason, your friendly delivery driver, and I do Uber Eats, DoorDash, and I am starting to try out Grubhub, and I will get to that in a minute as to why. What's prompting me to do this tonight, and the reason that I'm parked and I'm not out driving around is because today, I'm just gonna say it, it was completely miserable. It was the worst day of delivery that I've had in my 7 years doing this kind of gig work. And the reason I want to do it is because I'd like to give you guys my experience and what I learned from it, because I made some mistakes today. And sometimes, like I said, and I think in a previous video, you take risks, and I did today, and it didn't pan out. So I want to talk about that for just a minute. So I don't typically like to work nights. I don't see well at night. I prefer to get up, go and work, and then come home and enjoy the evening, rather than going out at 2 and it's hard for me to start work late in the day. However, I'm having to modify that just based on the conditions on the ground. So here's what happened. I've been having a lot of insomnia lately. I have no idea why. Maybe it's the heat. Maybe I'm just anxious, because of the economy. I don't I don't really know. So if any of you guys have suggestions, and I've tried a lot of things in my life, and honestly, the only one that really helped was a prescription medication, but I don't want to get on any kind of a, Quaalude-ish Ambien type thing again. They're addictive, and you have weird dreams, and no, I don't want to do that. So thinking maybe more natural stuff, like, I don't know, sleepy time tea, perhaps like a high grade CBD with, some kind of sleep enhancing effect, things of that nature. So I went out this morning, probably at about 6:30. And I started out on Uber Eats, because you can log on at any time. You don't have to have a slot, like you do on DoorDash. So then I checked DoorDash, and there were no slots available until like 6 that night, so I wasn't able to log on there. So I went with Uber Eats to start, and Uber Eats just last summer, one year ago, was off the hook. It was so strong that I wasn't even really having to decline orders. I wasn't getting anything for like less than $8 or $9. I wasn't paying as much attention back then to the mileage and the specifics of the trip, so I'm sure I took some orders I shouldn't have. But I can tell you now, I've really tightened up everything. My Uber Eats acceptance rate right now is 22%. And my DoorDash, I believe, is 47%. So what I'm kind of thinking on that is I've been a little bit too lenient on which orders I accept on DoorDash. So my goal is to kind of get that down to like 40 or below and see what happens. DoorDash has a lot more volume of orders, and they're okay orders, but they don't have a lot of what I call home run orders, $10 or more. In this economy, you're probably looking like more like $12, $13 or more before you're like, oh my God, that's a great order. And it's just comparing last summer, like my views on last summer, if I got a $5 order, I would probably take it and think that wasn't bad. When I look at a $5 order now, I just look at waste of time, and it might take me 2 seconds to decline that. Sometimes I decline it before it even makes that sound, because I just want it off my screen. It's a reminder of, what Uber's doing is, and I really don't know how the hell they get away with it. Maybe some of you do. Their base pay, like I got one this morning, it was $3.96 for 9 miles. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's totally backwards. If it was a $9 order and 3 miles, we take that all day. So of course I declined it. Well, if all of us were declining those orders, it would force Uber to have to make some adjustments on the price. Either that, or just tell the customer it can't be delivered. So what happens is one couple, whoever, somebody out there is, you know, taking that order, and part of me wants to like feel some empathy and say, you know, you don't know any better. And then there's the other part of me that gets angry, because that's what perpetuates Uber from raising the prices. If everybody here ran it like a business and just took orders that made sense for them, I mean, Uber would have to raise the rates, because nobody would pick up those garbage $3 orders. I mean, let's just assume that gas was normal, you know, like $3 or less. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get $2 gas again in this country. I don't know, maybe we'll get lucky if we have, this is hard to say, but if we have a really bad recession, maybe the gas prices go down, but I don't want that to happen. That's the only way that I think that they would go back down below 2. I just think there's too many regulations. There's too much pressure against, you know, gas and oil because of the, you know, the climate change crowd. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So anyway, back to, you know, what happened. So I logged on and I got an order pretty quick, and it was a bad order. It was like $5 for 7 miles. And I'm like, again, that's completely upside down. That's my number one thing. Do not do any upside down orders. And I think you guys know what I mean by that, so I'm not going to go into and explaining it again. So I was online, and then finally, after about 4 declines, I got an order for, I want to say $6.50, which is, it's really like average at this point. I've been doing minimums of 6. I'm probably going to go up to $6.50 or $7, because it just is not worth it with gas prices being over $4. The cost of living overall, inflation, it doesn't make any sense. Well, I did that order and then I waited and I kept getting a couple of other crummy orders. So finally I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna log off. I don't want to sit here and just hit decline all day. I mean, this is a waste of time. So I turned on Grubhub, and Grubhub, of all the apps, has the worst interface. They've got like a JV team of developers. I mean, there's so much wrong with their app, but I don't want to make this about that. But anyway, so I logged on to Grubhub and I look at the map, and it's pretty dead except for like 1, maybe 2 little star areas. So I logged on, and about a couple minutes later I got an order. It was $7, 5 miles. Okay, you know, like I said, anything 2 to 1 is what you're really, you know, aiming for, especially in this, you know, gas prices and everything, you know, being so high. But because it was so damn slow, and it wasn't, you know, McDonald's is an easy pickup. I go there, I think I've never had to wait more than 5 minutes for an order, so I know it's going to be quick, and they didn't live very far from there, so it made sense. So I did that, and then I stayed online and nothing came in. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn off and I go back to Uber Eats. At this point, it's probably, I don't know, 9:30 or 10. I mean, it's, you know, late breakfast, early lunch, a time where typically, you know, there are orders. I mean, people order food at all times of day, and people work different shifts, and sometimes people eat lunch at 9 and, you know, dinner at 4 or dinner at 10. It just, you never know. But for the next 20 minutes, 1, 2, 8, 10, 12, 13 straight declines of unreasonable orders. There was not one order amongst those 13 that I would ever consider doing. Never. They were upside down orders. They were like far, you know, in terms of mileage. So at that point, we all have, you know, kind of a choice. You know, do I stay out here, you know, push through it, you know, maybe go take a coffee break and log off and log back on in 20 minutes and see if it's any different? Because it can change. It can change really fast. You really just never know. Well, I made the choice to call it. And the reason I did is because I had already driven, it seems like I don't know how it happened, but I drove way too far on the two okay orders that I accepted this morning. So I called it, and I think overall that makes sense. You know, when you know it's just not going well, it's probably better 75-80% of the time to just call it and either try again later or try the next day. And just in closing, in the last couple minutes here, I covered this, I think, in my second video, and it's this. And I'm having to make some changes because I can't survive working like what I did today. That's crazy. I mean, I made $17 today. That's insane. That's the lowest I've ever made in 7 years. Like, I'm not embellishing. So I've started to work some evenings and bigger dollar orders. You know, people are more generous, I guess, because they've worked all day and are appreciative that somebody's going to bring them their food. They don't have to cook dinner. So, yeah, work when it's, you know, the busiest, and, you know, the heat maps and whatnot, and the promotions, and you know, just steer away from when it's like it was this morning for me, where the heat map has nothing on it, or, you know, maybe one or two. You want to go out when the heat map is lit up on a bunch of different places. Otherwise, I'm finding out that it's just a gigantic waste of time. Well, I hope you'd enjoyed this video, and I am going to hopefully get back on the road maybe tomorrow afternoon. I got to get my car serviced tomorrow. I might just take tomorrow off and, you know, recollect, regroup, and go hard Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because I am way behind the 8 ball this month in terms of making money and, you know, just having any kind of consistent success. Well, all right. One last thing, please like, and if you really like and you want to watch some more, subscribe. Okay. Good night, everybody.